doing this. Let me take these glasses off. These are old. But I told you guys yesterday, well, the people that watched, that I was going to start doing more regular lives on YouTube as well as LinkedIn. Oh, well, today is day number 2 in there. I'm going to limit it to Monday through Friday, though. So you don't have to worry about seeing me on the weekends. But, maybe special occasions you'll see me on the weekends. But for the most part, it will be Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday. I'm not sure the time because I don't know what my schedule is going to be like some of these days. But I'm going to still come on. So the lives will be, I don't know the time, I don't know how long the duration of time. I mean, they can be just for a couple minutes, hopefully no longer than 20 minutes. But this is just a quick hitting thing, talk about the subject and get off, right? Okay. So like today, I'm gonna talk about my client, right? My client and asking for like a 2 o'clock checkout. I mean, something as simple as that, right? And there's some other stuff I'm gonna talk about too, but this is the first thing that's kind of on my mind today. So yesterday, well, first of all, I have a client. For people that don't know, I'm Russell of Hotels. I do hotel site selection for companies and organizations. I do a lot of incentive groups. That's what I've been working on. That's what I've been doing, kind of concentrating on this year, doing a lot of incentive groups, right? So I actually have a group right now. I've had 2 in the last several months that have gone to Italy, but I have 1 currently there now, right? So actually they're in Greece. So they're on a cruise ship in Greece, right? But they flew into Rome, Italy, and they come back to the same place. So they finished where they started, right? So okay, so they're on a cruise ship now, and then I get an email or text yesterday from my client saying, "Hey, when we get to Miami, can you give us a late checkout?" Now they have like 30 rooms, okay, so they want a late checkout for everybody, like 2 p.m. Okay, that's the checkout time. I said, okay, well, I know that pretty much they won't know to the day of. Excuse me, the hotel won't know to the day of if they can actually do that. And in my experiences, no, we wouldn't do that. Not for that many rooms. There's no way we can do that. And there's no way of knowing that you can do that right at this point. But what I did was just basically, and I always make sure I'm transparent with my clients, right? I copy them on all my emails, okay, back and forth. So correspondent, any kind of email correspondence or text message, whatever, I'm making sure my client is in the loop, okay? Because you don't want anything to come back to bite you on the butt, right? So I made sure she was on there, and I didn't say that I could not, that the hotel wouldn't do it. I said, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll go ahead and request it. So I went ahead, requested, made sure that she was copied on the email, and true to form, my contact at the hotel comes back and says, hey, that's something, thank you for your request. It's a request only, but that's something we cannot guarantee until we'll know more when you check in. So make sure when you check in, you make sure I'll put the notes, leave it for whoever the supervisor is going to be there for that particular day. But I can't guarantee that it's going to happen because it's based on, how many people they have checking in and all this kind of stuff. So it's based on a myriad of things. And instead of, telling my client all that stuff, she's on a cruise, she's on vacation, right? Or on an incentive trip. She don't have time to hear all that stuff. So I just said, okay, I'll go ahead and request it. And like I said, I copied her on it. And then when the response came back to her as well. And basically said, no, we can't. I mean, it's not saying that we can't do it, but I'll go ahead and put that, make notes of that, and that decision will be made when you check in. But it is it's kind of hard to guarantee like 20 rooms checking out at 2 o'clock. Okay, and the hotel's not that big. It's like a town place suite that they're going to be staying in. So I would say it's maybe just a little bit over 100 rooms, and depending on how busy it is, and it's at Miami Airport, I would say on a weekend it's probably pretty busy because there's a lot of international flights are coming back. A lot of cruise, groups from, or just individuals off of cruise ships will be coming back as well. So I would think it wasn't even possible. But like I said, be transparent with your clients, copy them on all the emails, and that way they see what's going on. You're not just making up stuff, right? Just not to do it, right? So yeah. So when she got that, she just said, okay, no problem. We'll address it when we get there. So there you go, right? So that's one thing. And then another thing was, Did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you? Okay. So moving forward, I want to invite people on the show, on this live, a few minutes with Russell of Hotels, basically to talk about, did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you? Now, this is something I did on Instagram a little while ago, probably about a year ago. I was doing this, but then got away from it for whatever reason. I just, got busy doing some other things. But I'm going to bring that back, right? So these are just for people that work in the hospitality space. They just want to share their experience or how they got into hospitality. Some people went to college for it. Some people became managers. Some people started, as dishwashers or whatever, and rose up the ranks and all that stuff. So I always say, no two people started this industry alike. Some people came through the front door, some people came through the back door, some people came through the side door. But it doesn't matter because we all here, right? We all here, and we're doing some good things and some interesting things within the space, and we love, the hospitality space. So there you go. So that's what I want to talk about. So I'm gonna start this off by talking about me, right? Who, might as well. I'm here, right? I got a couple more minutes. So, like I said, I'm Russell of Hotels, but my real name is Russell Edmond. Okay, Edmond. So, just so you guys know that I do have a real name. So I started this whole hospitality thing as I really didn't even know what I wanted to do, but I did go to college for it. I just cut out all the changing majors and all that stuff in college, but I did get out with a degree in hospitality. Well, back then it was under School of Business, so it was called HRT, Hotel, Restaurant, and Travel Management. Okay, so my first job was with Marriott International with the Courtyard division, right? I came in as a housekeeping manager. So back then, Courtyard, in order for you to be, so I was on the path to be a general manager. Okay, so back then, and I may still do it now, I don't know, but I worked for Marriott International. It was a corporate run and managed property where you started in one of three disciplines. You either started in housekeeping, front office, or restaurant. Okay, you needed to complete those three disciplines before you were eligible to become a general manager of a Courtyard hotel, right? Courtyard by Marriott. So I started off in housekeeping. So my first discipline was housekeeping. Okay, so I learned, everything. I cleaned 18 rooms, and that was part of the training, right? So, you had to know every aspect of housekeeping, right? So, but it was great. It was a great experience. I had a great trainer. I started off at the hotel in El Segundo, which is now something else now. It's not a Courtyard anymore, which saddens me that I drive by there and it has another name on the building now. But anyway, hey, shit happens. But yeah, so my career path started with Marriott Hotels. Worked for Marriott for about, I want to say, 4 years, and then left, and then went somewhere else. Went to another hotel, which was not it wasn't a corporate property. It was a Sheraton. But we're just talking about how I started, right? We're talking about how I got in. I went to college. My first job was Marriott. I even remember the two people that hired me, Bridget Belinsky and Sam Veneziano. If you guys know those people, they're still around. Well, I think they're both retired at this point. But if you know those people, please make sure you tell them Russell said hello, because if it wasn't for them hiring me, I don't know. I would have went to another hotel company, but it would not have been Marriott. I can tell you that right now. It probably would have been Sheraton. And that was back in the day when Sheraton was part of ITT. So I'm kind of dating myself, right? People don't even know what the hell is ITT. But those old timers are like, I remember that. I remember ITT back in the day. Oh, yeah. So, but I started in operations first because I never worked in a hotel before. I knew eventually I wanted to get into sales because my goal was to be a director of sales and marketing at a 400, 500 room property, 50,000 square feet of meeting space, a big box hotel. That was my goal, right? But I knew I was going to get into sales, but I just didn't know how. I didn't know when, but I knew eventually I was going to get there, right? But I needed to know how to sell a hotel, which I didn't know. I didn't know how different aspects, communicated with other departments, right? So like the one aspect that I worked with was housekeeping. How do they communicate with the front desk? How do they communicate with food and beverage, engineering, all those things. So I needed to know the groundwork, if you will, before I could apply that to being a sales manager. So it took me My path took me to about 7 years in operations before I got the opportunity to get into sales. Okay, so I'm saying that to say this: just know what your goals are. You can get there. You may not know. Sometimes you may not even know how you're going to get there. But there's people along the way that, if you tell your story, what you're trying to achieve, there's people along the way that are going to help you. And along the way, several people helped me out to get to that point. I mean, Ron Berger, Joe Carrillo. I mean, these people are the ones that kind of helped me get to where I am today, because if it wasn't for them, I would not have been able to get into sales. Okay. Mr. Lawrence Louie. Okay. He was still an owner of Stanford Hotels. I mean, those are the people that, someone put them in my path, so I would come across them and they would be able to help me. So you can't get there alone, but you do have to know what you're doing. You have to put in the work. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Okay, it doesn't matter where you start. You just have to have the drive to do it, because it's not going to be hard. I mean, it's not going to be easy. Definitely going to be challenging. Was it hard? It was a challenge at times. I mean, because you're dealing with people and people's personalities, and some people don't want you to succeed. Some people don't want you to win. Okay, but you just have to have the drive, continue to do it, and you'll get there. So that was my path. Did I choose hospitality, or did hospitality choose me? I chose hospitality, right? So, and I'm glad I did. So let me just look at a couple of comments I see, and then we'll get off, because these are not meant to be like a whole hour show. These are like, no more than 30 minutes. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I think right now, I'm at 11. I'm at like 12 minutes right now. So hold on, let me just read a couple of comments. And one thing I am about, if you did not know, I'm about acknowledging people that are making comments, people that are actually watching the show, because I appreciate you. So I see Craig Giangrosso. Thank you, Craig. Hello, how are you? And I see Dylan Beaumont. Dylan is a general manager at the Fairfield Inn by Marriott in Eugene, Oregon, right down the street from the University of Oregon. So if you're ever there, you need to check out Dylan, right? So Dylan says, do you feel this? Hold on one second. See, Dylan got me put my glasses on. Do you feel this was too late to ask for the 2 p.m. checkout? Well, you can always ask. It's just that, no, I don't think it was too late. I think it was probably too early. Because a lot of time, and you know this, Dylan, so I told her, like I said, I told her ahead of time. I told her this before, because I've helped this client out at numerous hotels, right? But she always forgets that, or maybe she's just challenging me to see if we can make this happen, right? So that's why I always, like I said, make sure I copy her on every correspondence that I have. But I think it just depends on the busyness of that hotel. The business of the hotel, is that a busy time? Is it slow for them? I don't know. She said right out front that I'm not sure if I can do that. Okay, so can you ask them tomorrow? I'll put notes. I'll leave a note with the supervisor or whatever. But I'm not sure if that can happen, because it's based on who's checking out and who's checking in. Amount of people that are leaving. Like, say you probably couldn't do it at your hotel because of the flow of what's going on this weekend with University of Oregon and all this stuff checking in. It could be the same thing going on at that particular hotel. So I don't know. And then, do you know Sheraton had the first Hotel 800 number? No, I did not know that. That's a fun fact, right? No, I did not know that Sheraton had the first 1-800 phone number. Did not know that, but thank you so much for letting me know. See what happens when people come on and talk. I just remember, did you know that Sheraton was part of ITT? Did you even know what ITT was? Okay, so I got some questions for you. But no, it was good. I appreciate my early experience in hotels. Like I said, just getting started with Marriott. Had I not started with Marriott, I would not. I don't know if I had the same drive that I have now, because when you start with Marriott, I think Marriott is, first of all, by far, if you work with corporate Marriott, if you started with corporate Marriott, they are beyond the best hotel company that I could ever imagine working for. Just the opportunities that you had, and all you had to do is work hard, right? You had to put your time in and bust your butt, but they recognize you for working hard. A lot of companies don't do that. You can bust your ass day in and day out, but you will never get recognized. So I could never, say, well, if it wasn't for working for this company or that person or whatever, I never would have got this. No, they put things in line for you. Yeah, some people were difficult along the way, but at the end of the day, if you were busting your ass, somebody else saw it. If it wasn't your immediate person that saw it, someone else saw that you were busting your butt, right? And they say, hey, and those are the days when people were moving around a lot, right? So you started with one property, you did your training, and then automatically you were sent to another property, right? So people weren't staying at properties longer than 6 months. They were moving around at a quick pace, right? But that has kind of stopped a little bit now. Well, it's stopped a lot now. And I'm not sure if they still have that ID program. It was called the Individual Development Program. That out of college, that's what we went into. So there's a group of us that came in. Not everybody, got through it for whatever reason. Not everybody survived it. Maybe they just got tired of it, and they said, "Well, maybe this is not for me." And I remember what my first salary was. It was like it was $18,979. $18,979. That's what I made a year. My first job. I thought that was all the money in the world. Now it's just a day's pay. That was a good one. So, what's the best hotel to stay at for baseball fans? That's a good question. Which one is closer to the stadium, Craig? That's what I would say. I don't, I couldn't answer that question, and say I would think it has to do with where you're going to stay. If it's LA, there's a couple hotels that are closer. Just let me know where you're going to go, Craig, and I'll let you know what the best hotel is to stay. And the best hotel may not necessarily be the best rate, okay? Don't just look at the rate when you're picking a hotel. Look at where it's located, what's going on in that area. I mean, I do all kind of research before I just say, okay, we're going to pick this particular hotel. So, and it may be a brand, or it may not be a brand. So don't sleep on the independent hotels, okay? Just because it doesn't have a major brand does not mean you don't want to stay there, but it depends on the destination that you're going to. So I would give that. So no, you're more than welcome, Craig. So anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I'm at like 17 minutes and 30 seconds. So that's it. You guys have a great day. And remember, I'm going to do these every day, Monday through Friday, live here on YouTube and LinkedIn. I don't know what I'm going to call this, though. Is this, did hospitality choose you, or did you choose hospitality? Maybe that's what I'll call it, okay? But it doesn't matter, but it's all about Russell of Hotels and hashtag Hospitality Unplugged. So you guys have a great weekend. Any questions at all, please feel free. You can email me, russell@russellofhotels.com, or just slide into my DMs, okay? And just send me a message. I just love saying that, sliding into my DMs. I don't know. I sound so cool saying it, at least to myself. But anyway, you guys have a great day, great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Peace.